Okay, so I'm trying to build a humanoid robot, but before I can even think about teaching it to walk, I first need to build muscles that will move it. Those muscles are called actuators, and they're one of the biggest reasons humanoid robots are so expensive. A single robot can require dozens of them, and high-performance actuators can easily cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars each. So if I want to build an affordable humanoid robot, I first need to build affordable actuators. The type of actuator I want to build is called a quasi-direct drive. The concept is actually pretty simple. You take a powerful electric motor and pair it with a small reduction gearbox. That gearbox multiplies the motor's torque while keeping the actuator lightweight, efficient and highly responsive. Because it only uses a single reduction stage, it also has very little backlash, making it ideal for precise robotic motion. That's exactly why quasi-direct drives have become so popular in modern robotics, and that's why many of today's humanoid robots use some variation of this design. Now, I could spend a couple of days designing this actuator myself, but I'm not actually going to do that. Instead, I'm going to let AI do most of the design for me. Considering how much AI has improved over the last few years, I'm genuinely curious to see how much of this design it can actually do. So for this project, I'm going to let AI design the entire actuator, but we'll start with the motor first. Luckily, this isn't my first time building one. 2 years ago, I asked AI to help me design an axial flux motor, and it worked surprisingly well. So the type of motor that I chose is called an axial flux motor, and unlike a conventional electric motor where the magnetic flux travels radially from the center outwards, an axial flux motor directs the magnetic flux parallel to the shaft. That difference in geometry allows the motor to pack more magnetic force into the same amount of space, making it much more torque dense. Axial flux motors are also commonly known as pancake motors because of their flat disc-shaped design, although this is one pancake I definitely wouldn't recommend eating. To design the motor, I started by giving the AI a few design constraints, things like overall dimensions, operating voltage, and the sort of performance that I was aiming for. And after quite a few iterations, I eventually got a design that I thought would work. I still had to do all of the CAD modeling myself, but this is the design that we came up with. It's fairly simple. We've got a stator with 6 wound copper coils and a couple bearings, and then the rotor has 8 permanent magnets. And finally, I simply use an 8mm bolt as the shaft to hold everything together. Designing the motor was pretty straightforward, however building it was a bit more difficult. Building the rotor was the easy part. I 3D printed the rotor, glued the magnets into place in an alternating north-south pattern, and then press fit the entire assembly onto the shaft. The stator was a completely different story. Each of the 6 coils had to be wound by hand using 0.8mm enameled copper wire. And although it looks incredibly satisfying on camera, in reality it's one of the most frustrating jobs I have ever done. The wire consistently tries to spring back into sort of a tangled mess. And whilst I'm winding the coils, I have to keep track of the number of turns on each coil, because that's important for the power rating of the motor. And just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, I realized I'd printed the coil formers in the wrong orientation. So whilst I was winding the coils, 2 of them snapped in half. And at that point I was seriously questioning why I ever thought building my own motor was a good idea. However, after a lot of patience and quite a bit of swearing, I finally finished all 6 coils and installed them into the stator. I then soldered them together in a standard star or Y configuration, which is one of the most common ways to wire a 3-phase brushless motor. Alright, so next I could bolt the stator together using some standard M4 bolts. Once that was done, I press fit the bearings, and with that, the motor was basically finished. Now I did test it, and honestly it worked way better than I was expecting. It spun up really smoothly and actually ran surprisingly well. So I definitely call it a success, and that means we can move on to building the gearbox. So to make the gearbox, I'm going to use a tool called Meshy AI, who are also the sponsor of today's video. Meshy is an AI-powered 3D modeling tool, and it is surprisingly easy to use. You just describe what you want using a text prompt, and Meshy starts generating a design for you. For my first attempt, I decided to be a little ambitious, and I asked Meshy to design the entire Planetary gearbox from scratch. It actually started asking me follow-up questions like what tolerances I wanted and a few other design details. After that, it generated this concept image of what it thought the gearbox should look like. Now, as you can probably tell, this gearbox probably wouldn't work in real life, but honestly, considering how complicated these gearboxes are, I think it did a pretty good job. Looking back, asking it to generate the entire gearbox in one go was probably a bit ambitious. Of course, I still wanted to see how well Meshy could turn it into a 3D model, so all I had to do was click the 2D image and ask Meshy to turn it into a 3D model. And after a short wait, it produced this 3D model. Even though the design wasn't mechanically correct, I was honestly still impressed by the amount of details it managed to generate. So for my next attempt, I decided to break the problem down and generate each component individually. I started with one spur gear. Again, I just gave Meshy a prompt and it asked a few follow-up questions. This time I forgot to specify the thickness of the gear, so it actually asked me what dimensions I wanted before continuing. After that, it generated another concept image, and this one looked a whole lot more realistic. So again, I converted it into a 3D model, and the result was surprisingly good. What impressed me the most was how dimensionally accurate it was. For example, I specified an 8mm sensor hole, and the generated model measured exactly 8mm. I ended up using Meshy to generate the rest of the gearbox components. I still had to do a bit of cleanup myself. There were a few small artifacts, and I had to make sure that everything fit together properly. But it saved me a lot of time getting to the final design. So this is the final gearbox that we ended up with. It's a simple 5-to-1 planetary gearbox with 3 planet gears, a sun gear, and a ring gear that also serves as the housing. So I've been genuinely impressed with what Meshy can do. So if you've got an idea for a 3D model, you can just Meshy it. You can get 50% off by using my link in the description, so definitely go check them out. But now let's see if this AI designed gearbox will actually go together. Alright, so I printed all of the parts out of standard PLA. It's actually pretty durable, so it should hold up for at least a bit of testing. The first thing I'm going to do is press fit this 22mm bearing into the planet carrier. This is what the 3 planet gears will eventually rotate around. The bearing has an 8mm inner diameter, which matches the output shaft. Next, I'm going to install a few heat-set inserts. These will let me bolt an arm onto the actuator later, so we can actually do some testing and see how much torque it produces. Now it's time to assemble the planet gears. I printed these in orange PLA, simply because I had some laying around and they look pretty cool. Each planet gets a press fit bearing, and I'll bolt them into the planet carrier using some M4 bolts. These are threaded directly into the plastic, which probably isn't the most proper engineering solution, but it's been holding up so far, so I'm going to pretend it's a good idea. Next we can mount the ring gear, which also acts as the gearbox housing. I actually designed it to have the exact same bolt pattern as the motor, so all I have to do is remove the original bolts and replace them with slightly longer M4 bolts, and that will clamp both pieces together. That means the motor and the gearbox become one complete assembly. With that done, I can slide the planet carrier into the gearbox, add the small 3D printed end cap, and that's basically it. The end cap isn't really structural, it just keeps everything from falling apart. And we're done. Honestly, I think it turned out really well. Now there's only one thing left to do. Let's see if this thing actually works. Alright, so to power the actuator, I'm going to use a maker-based simple FOC. I don't have the Hall effect sensor installed yet, so there's no position feedback. It's definitely not an ideal setup, but for testing it should be more than good enough. So let's wire everything up and see if this thing actually works. So yeah, this robotic actuator was almost entirely designed with AI, and it's actually working. That's kind of crazy to think about. AI has come a really long way over the past couple of years. Like 2 years ago, it could only help me do calculations, and now it can actually generate the whole CAD model as well. But just because it's running doesn't mean it's any good. Let's see how much torque this thing can actually produce. I've got a very scientific setup here. I've clamped the actuator to the table, and I'm using a kitchen scale to measure its force output. The arm is exactly 10 centimeters long, so we can do some calculations after we know how much force it can produce. Alright, so let's see how much torque it can make. Okay, so that's about 300-400 grams right there. Let's try that a few more times, and I'll measure the average. Alright, so I've run the test a couple of times and it seems to average around 400 grams. So since the arm is exactly 10 centimeters long, that works out to about 0.39 or 0.4 Newton meters of torque. Honestly, that's pretty good. I was hoping for a little bit more torque, but considering this whole actuator was designed with AI and built mostly from 3D printed parts, I would call this a success. Actually, I don't think that the gearbox is the limiting factor here. It feels surprisingly solid, and I think it can handle a lot more abuse. I think the real bottleneck is the motor. It simply does not produce enough torque just yet, and I think there's still quite a bit of room for improvement there. Okay, so now there are a few directions I could take this project next. I could redesign the Axial Flux motor by adding more coils, changing the magnetic layout, or maybe even adding a second rotor or even a second stator to increase the torque output. Or I could leave the motor alone for now, and I could simply buy a more powerful brushless motor and driver and keep developing the gearbox instead. I'm honestly not quite sure which direction I should go, so let me know what you guys would like to see me do in the comment section down below. So overall, I would say that this experiment was a success. I mean, AI didn't create the perfect actuator, but it got surprisingly close. It actually worked. And considering how much these tools have improved in just the last couple of years alone, I'm really excited to see what they'll be in a few years from now. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. And if you want to see more of this AI engineering and robotics content, make sure to subscribe. Also, don't forget to check out today's video sponsor, Meshy. If you've got an idea for a 3D model, just Meshy it. You can get 50% off by using the link in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.